Oh, hi, YouTube. I want to do some comic reviews. Brought to you by Anchorage Brewing Company. Within Us IPA. It's very good. It's quite hazy. That looks really gross in that camera footage there. Yeah, let's start with Marvel stuff. Avengers, issue 2. Um, Everyone's like giving this so much praise. I think it's really dumb. Uh, I want to like it, and it's cool having the original trilogy back, even though I think the Trinity should be used for DC, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but people are using it for Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. But I mean, same, I guess. There's like their power figures, but still, I feel like Trinity should be copyrighted by DC. Um, yeah, like I want to like this so much, but I just really don't like the dialogue. I hate the character regression. She Hulk is back to being in not control of herself when she got over that. Uh, Robbie Reyes, you know, his car, they're saying his car's possessed by a demon, and people were like, oh no, that's not right. And they're tweeting Jason Aaron, and Jason Aaron was like, yo, yeah, that was just like too long to say, and it's just easier to say he's possessed by a demon and like that it's not his uncle. It's like, that's still canon, I guess. Um, but either way, like the dialogue is pretty awful, especially for Robbie Reyes. Most of the time, he's like, issue 1, he was talking to those like alien ants, uh, and like as if they could understand him. And I understand it's for like the reader's sake, but at the same time, you can do like the box dialogues or the cloud inner monologue boxes or clouds. There's just so many other ways to get the point across than having the characters speak to and like creatures that don't understand. And this one, he also talks to himself out loud. Um, it's just really dumb. Uh, and most of it is dialogue boxes from Loki. See all the green boxes, and it's kind of like mysterious as you're reading it. You don't know it's Loki, but like right away you can tell it's just the fucking font and the color scheme, and he's on the cover of issue 3, so like it's Loki right off the bat. And at the end, it's like big reveal, it's Loki. It's like, oh wow, all right, yeah, big reveal. There he is. I mean, I do think it's cool that they're doing like a throwback where it's like Loki was the first villain the Avengers fought, so it's come full circle again. Yeah, that's cool, and I like the idea of big stakes at hand. These dark Celestials. Um, I guess hopefully they'll be more interesting. I wish the Dark Celestials were more of a focus point or a focal point than Loki, um, as if it was like their own motivation. Uh, but yeah, like I've been disappointed in this, and everyone's been stoked on it. But that's cool. I mean, it looks pretty good. The art is pretty decent on the inside, for the most part. I think it looks pretty good actually on the inside. On the outside, like the cover's okay. I think Thor's arm looks pretty goofy. Silver arm. It looks like pretty short in the forearm section, but I mean that's just nitpicking. But yeah, Avengers 2. I mean, I'm still gonna stick on to it. It's a big, event. But yeah, I'll stick on to it for a couple more issues. I don't know. I'll go as long as I can until I can't stand it anymore, or it gets like super super bad. I also had this Prime issue from Free Comic Book Day because it wasn't available, but they gave it to me last week. So that was cool because it takes place before issue 1. Um, and it was kind of it was fun. I kind of enjoyed it like more than issue 1. But I really liked the Captain America story at the end, so I'm really looking forward to Ta-Nehisi Coates' story for Captain America. It seems very exciting, and I'm looking forward to his social commentary in there as well. Infinity Countdown, Daredevil 1. Turk has the Mind Stone. It was pretty cool so far. Only thing I didn't really like was like, Daredevil's fighting Turk's goons, his henchmen, and fighting Turk himself, and he pretty much beats everyone fairly well as he usually does. But then Turk hits him like once, and then Daredevil bails. He's like, "Oh," and then it's like, "I gotta get out of here," and like leaves for like no reason. Just like gets hit once and like leaves. So like I didn't understand that, like why. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, well maybe it was like the Mind Stone that did that," but it's like, well, if it was, then why didn't he just do that in the first place instead of having to have him like fight him for most of this. Uh, yeah, it's like you're fighting and fighting, and he's like whack. He gets hit right there. And the next page, she's like, "Peace, I'm out of here." He's bails. So I don't know. Other than that, like, it's been okay. Most of the Infinity Countdown I haven't really enjoyed. It's just Guardians of the Galaxy story continued. Um, but I mean, Duggan is a good writer. I really like his independent stuff that he's doing, and his Deadpool was really good. Um, but and I mean, his Guardians of the Galaxy were respectively good too, also. But yeah, I mean, this was okay. It's worth reading. Um, you know, I think I liked this better than the actual Infinity Countdown storyline because it's mostly just Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. And then like the last page will be something with Adam Warlock and like Pimtron, and that's like the only part that's really worth reading. I think or should be considered as part of Infinity Countdown. Um, I mean, I'm still gonna stick with it and read all the tie-ins. Like I haven't started buying comics and collecting seriously until I want to say maybe October of last year, and then like ever since then I've just gone deep, just keep buying all kinds of crazy shit, and like learn my history of comics. Just whenever I like try to find like peak old interest from long ago, I'll just like go balls deep. I mean, bad terminology, but I mean, I'll just go all in. Um, so yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So like, I feel like this is like one of the first events I've like finally came to collect at the beginning of it. I mean, I had Dark Knight's Metal, but I got into that like maybe a couple issues. I want to say like 2 issues in, 3 issues in, and I missed like the prelude, and so I had to like go back and get those. But ever since around then, like it's kind of when I started getting stuff. So this would be like the first like full event I really want to collect. All the tie-ins, and then Infinity Wars is coming out. I want to get all those, and like if I don't like it, then I'll just probably just put up on my eBay and sell like everything for probably half price or whatever, and get some money back. But yeah, so that's kind of how I'm doing things right now. Um, Hunt for Wolverine, Claws of a Killer. I really been enjoying these Hunt for Wolverine stories. This one, Claws of a Killer, was my least favorite, and I was getting pretty excited for it because I like all the characters in here. It's more like the Wolverine Weapon X kind of family. You got Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and Wolverine's son, Daken. But once again, character regression. Um, you know, Sabretooth is on the same team right now as Old Man Logan, and they're cool, for the most part. I mean, they just had the recent battle where Sabretooth fights Wolverine on his birthday every day, like almost to the death, pretty much. Um, but, I mean, and then same thing with the two characters as well. Um, but as for the story, it was okay. There wasn't very much. Uh, it wasn't like too much. I want to say there wasn't too much dialogue or like reasons to care about characters per se. Um, I said the guys like that had like the most character personality to them was like the one bar patron that died, and Dawkins, because he had some personality dialogue as well. A lot of complaints to other reviews online were like you could have switched the dialogue for like any of these three characters and it would have came across the same because it was just pretty bland. Um, but I mean, the big reveal at the end was like zombies. So it's gonna be a zombie story, and like I live in Pittsburgh, and it's just like zombie shit nonstop because uh, that's what Pittsburgh is known for. So with the whole entire Dawn of the Dead, um, George Romero, movies that were filmed here in Pittsburgh. So that, like everyone, there's this huge zombie culture here in Pittsburgh. So like, uh, yeah, I'm kind of burnt out on that shit. I see it all the fucking time. But either way, I wasn't expecting at the end to see zombies. But I'm gonna keep reading all these and buying them all too. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. But it wasn't like the worst thing ever. It wasn't like terrible. I didn't hate it. Uh, but it has potential to be fun, and I want to know what this Wolverine character that like unleashed this virus on a small town that turned everyone into zombies. Like if that was actually, the real Wolverine or like some other clone or something. Who knows? But it has potential to be fun. Mighty Thor at the Gates of Valhalla. Total one off. It was all about Thor's three daughters in the future and them time jumping just to meet Jane Foster, for whatever reason. I don't know why they really wanted to meet her. And then once they met her, they didn't want to give her a warning of what's to come, and she didn't want to hear it either. So I don't really get what the whole point was of this. But I mean, it was still decent. It was a little silly and goofy. I guess the bad guy was probably the main reason you need to read this. Just saying how he's going to get the War of the Realms started finally. So I guess that part was important. Yeah, I mean, it has some brutal parts. The bad guy went to this village and he told like this one family to eat their next door neighbors, and like it was just brutal. But yeah, I guess it might be worth reading if you want, and it's just a one issue, one off kind of thing. Captain America issue 702, variant cover. The issues leading up to 700, I like hated. I thought it was like the worst thing ever. Terrible writing, terrible like character animation art. Like it was bad all the way through. Couldn't stand it. So I was going to give up like when 700 happened. And then I heard about the storyline and what was going to happen from 701 on, and I was like, do I really want to read that? Like, it sounds interesting, but like it was so bad what I read previously that I didn't want to. And then I eventually broke down, and they had like 701 was like this Deadpool variant, which I thought was really cool. So I bought that, and I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm gonna read it. And yeah, I ended up really enjoying it. It sucks because I didn't want to like it, but yeah, I'm enjoying the storyline. It takes place in the future. It's a family member of Steve Rogers sometime far in the future, and yeah, the bad guy is, the right-hand man of the president, some general. But yeah, everyone's trying to find the Captain America relative, who's like a historian. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. And at the end of this one, he just broke out Red Skull that was trapped in a cube. So I guess Red Skull might wreck some shit coming up, and hopefully he finds Captain America, because I think they said that he was not dead. So I'm sure that's going to happen, and then Captain America will fix everything. So Punisher, this cover's really cool. I've really been enjoying Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher. I heard like only one complaint so far from someone that they didn't like it. I've said before that I feel like every issue is just kind of like a Friday the 13th movie, where it's just different ways that Jason kills someone. It's just different ways you can kill people. But yeah, so like the last kind of small arc was, he went overseas. You know, he got this War Machine uniform and defeated this like not Russian general. I forget what country it is, but defeated some general in his military. Now he's coming back to the United States. So now he's in New York City and he's going after all the like these bad guys, but he still has a super powered like War Machine outfit and just demolish like a good handful of criminals, which is awesome. But then you have like Carol Danvers and like these other heroes that want to stop him from using the War Machine outfit for their own personal reasons because they think it's like a disgrace or an insult, you know, to the uniform, which is dumb because they stop him from stopping criminals because of course Captain Marvel does that because she sucks. Like I don't get why they continue to make Captain Marvel this person, this dislikable character. Like no one likes her. She's just terrible. And now they're gonna try to make her likable, but then they bring back this shit where it's like give you another reason not to like her. But yeah, so at the end he gets back to his base, but it's found out like he got shot by Hawkeye with like a homing device. So everyone's waiting for him at his hideout, like all these like characters at the end. I want to say it's like Spider-Man and Captain Marvel and yeah, Beast, the Thing, Hercules, Cannonball, Falcon. I think that's Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Yeah, so here's the whole crew waiting for him. What's that dude's name? Is that like, was it the Patriot or something like that? I forgot. I just remember seeing an episode of on Comic Pop of that dude flipping out like constantly from it was like a '90s issue. But yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, check out Punisher. I like it a lot, and I'm glad they're keeping him on board after Marvel's fresh start because he's gonna get a brand new #1. I think he's gonna get a new artist as well. Yeah, it's, you know, plain old regular Frank without the War Machine uniform. And yeah, I'm excited because yeah, I think he's been doing a great job. You know, he's been a fan of Punisher forever. Like, he was around my age, and so he grew up reading it, you know, ever since he was a kid. And he loves Garth Ennis's run, too, and he loves all the classics. He knows his stuff. You know, he even saved up, like, allowance and money from work, or I don't think allowance. I think he saved up money from working to buy like classic Punisher issues, you know, like that are really valuable nowadays, you know, and they were especially pricey too back then as well. So, you know, he has respect for the character, he knows his stuff, and I think he's doing a great job. Next one, Quicksilver No Surrender, out of the pages of Avengers No Surrender, and this is pretty cool. The storyline was okay. I love Solid and Ahmed for the most part. I haven't really been liking his Exiles too much. It's been okay. But I love his Abbott, and his Black Bolt was really good. But the art in this is really cool. Like, sorry, can't see. Yeah, it's like almost reminds of like Duran Duran kind of 80s. Yeah, it's kind of like that, like the whole way through. And then once he gets to a certain part, it kind of goes black and white, because like everyone's frozen, but he's still moving in color. But yeah, it's cool. He beats some bad guy that kind of looks like him, and he's not sure why. And then yeah, so he defeats this guy, beats him up, and the guy just explodes. And then he's like, all right, well, what now? And he goes to like the top of a building to get perspective, and there's like a whole shitload more of them, different colors too. So yeah, that's where that issue is at, and yeah, it's been enjoyable. I'm definitely gonna stick with it. I really liked No Surrender. I thought it was really cool. Avengers No Surrender. And at first I was like, like maybe I shouldn't part with that. I kind of want to keep it. It was like probably the first like whole entire story arc I bought from start to finish, besides Dark Knight's Metal. I don't know. That's probably not true. I haven't bought a lot of stuff, so. Um, but yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like maybe I should sell that. But then I really like the issue one lenticular cover. I'm a sucker for like that kind of shit, holograph covers and lenticulars. Like I'm the fucking idiot that buys those. That's why they still make them. um, all new Wolverine. Last story from Taylor. Uh, I thought he did a great job with Laura Kinney Wolverine. And yeah, like it's kind of like one of those false flags where you think she's gonna die, and that's how it starts. Is like her kind of dying, but then at the end, Honey Badger's like, "Oh no, like it's gonna be okay. Don't give up. We'll get you some help." And she's like, "All right, cool, yeah." Like, and that's just how it ends. Um, I think it would have given the character more meaning if she would have died. I think I would have enjoyed it more if she would have died. But I am glad that she didn't die at the same time. It was a good story. They defeat Doctor Doom. They lost some friends along the way. But it was really good the whole entire way through. And I already put on my pull list X-23 issue 1 for Marvel Fresh Start. So excited to make a start brand new. X-Men Red, issue 4. Issue 1 was really cool. I really liked issue 1 a lot. Then I think just kind of started going downhill from there, honestly. This one was pretty funny. I had a lot of jokes. They have Namor the Submariner, and they tell him to put on some clothes. And they give him a new outfit, and the whole team is assembled. So I think this is all the team we're going to have now. I'm not sure if they're going to have more additions to it, but everyone is finally grouped together, I think. And the bad guy is Charles Xavier's sister, and she has this technology that it's like the Sentinels, but it's like a microchip that turns people into the same kind of mindset of a Sentinel, where you can sense a mutant and feel nothing but anger and want to kill the mutant immediately. So it's kind of turning people into weapons. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, it's okay. This issue is probably my second favorite issue, but the first one crushed it. It was so good, and this one's okay. Issue 3, Weapon H. I think Greg Pak's been doing a great job because this character is something I've always wanted to see when I was a kid. A combination of Hulk and Wolverine. Are you kidding me? And it's nothing but straight up action and brutality. Just tons of big pages, action shots, things exploding and blood, and it's fun. He fights these flying sharks. It's all kinds of weird creatures. But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited because at the end, he's gonna end up fighting Man-Thing, and Man-Thing's pretty cool. But yeah, that's where Weapon H is at, and I've been enjoying that. I've been liking it. I'm gonna continue to buy it. So that's all the Marvel stuff. DC, no Justice. This one too, I think, is overrated as well. Everyone's giving it way too much praise. It's a beautiful comic. The art is great in it, outside and inside. Really been enjoying the art. As for the characters, people were making fun of Cyborg's outfit, saying he looks like Iron Man, which is true. He does look like Iron Man. But yeah, it's I don't want to say it's convoluted. I feel like there's not enough character interactions between each other. They mainly focus on one or two characters in in certain groups, and that person gets the attention. And hopefully there's more. I mean, it's only 4 issues that's going to come out. This is issue 2. Beast Boy was in a good bit of this, dialogue wise. I don't know. I feel like it's all like just because it's big stakes per se, it doesn't mean it's good. Like it doesn't mean it's written well. Um, I just want more character development, more character interactions. I want to see like Lobo and Batman like having a discussion, and like this team is fucking baller. Like Batman, Deathstroke, Lex Luthor, Lobo. You know, like you kidding me? Like it should be awesome. But like, and I was really hoping each issue was kind of gonna focus on one team in particular each, so you can get those interactions. But it's still like going back and forth between all the teams and everyone else. Um, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm still interested in the story. I want to see what happens. Um, but yeah, I mean, I wish it was better. Superman special. Has a couple little stories in there. Um, it was okay. I really like Tomasi. I think he writes really charming stories, and it was cool. I really would actually like to see more stories of that dude. I forgot his name. Um, but yeah, I guess he was a throwback from earlier issue back in Superman 8 through 9. See if I can find his name. Captain something. Captain Storm. And he's part of the group called the Losers, if you recall that movie. But yeah, so, I guess back then, in that early Superman issues, they bailed on him, and they were like, yeah, we should go back and rescue him. And before he was like, no, leave me behind. And this time he's like, oh, hell no, get me out of here. So yeah, he wanted to get his like friend's dog tags, while Superman and Superboy held off all these like zombie dinosaur hybrids. And then they come back to modern day, and the captain dude like delivers the dog tags to the family members that are surviving. Like I was hoping if like they were gonna come back to the modern day, and they were gonna see a bunch of zombie dinosaur hybrid people walking around or something, because that part of time got changed. So there's no reason why that should have been gone, because they didn't kill all those creatures. They kept living. So something should have happened there, but whatever. Brave and the Bold has been really good. If you like Lord of the Rings kind of stories. And this one is pretty much, they're trying to figure out who killed the king. They finally get to talk to the queen, and she's like, yeah, like all of us have been living here forever, but our memories go away after so many like centuries, and our husband has this like secret room full of paintings that has these events, so we don't forget. It's just there forever, but even then these paintings are going to go away and fade in time. And yeah, there's like more paintings, and paintings look cool. It's good art. At the end, Batman's like, oh yeah, I saw this picture in one of the paintings. It was like his tomb or something, so we gotta go there because it's like actually his bat cave, like the king's bat cave, his hideout, his man cave. And so they get there, and then I guess it set off some alarm or something. And the queen, who was their friend before, gets all pissed. She's like, all right, man, you're like dissing our tomb. And Batman's like, yeah, wait, hold up. And there's these stones. If you see a stone with like a circle in it, you can see stuff. Like you can see past magic. And I guess apparently the king's silver arm is actually missing. It's not there. And so someone took this magical silver arm, and they're gonna find out who, and that's it. So that's why it's called "Behold, the Silver Arm, Destroyer of Worlds." But yeah, I mean, it's like every issue is pretty wordy, and you get kind of exhausted reading it just because all the Celtic gods and their Celtic dialogue and names of places like Tirnanog and so I feel like Lord of the Rings, then that's for you. I got this old issue of the Flash, takes place before the prelude of Flash War, and this one is just actually this is like a false cover because Iris does not get pissed like this at all at Wally. I guess to make people want to buy it, they're like, oh no, something's gonna happen, she's mad. But no, it was actually like a really emotional meeting between the two, and they like everyone cries. Like this whole issue was just like everyone crying and be like, oh, and then Wally thing going, I remember everything. And I forgot like what happened in the prelude to Flash War. Like I'm gonna have to go over that again to get caught up because I think tomorrow is actually first issue of Flash War, which I've been stoked on. I'm excited for that because what happened to Wally's kids? Are they gone because of Barry and Flashpoint? Probably. Aquaman, dude, this variant is fucking killer. Aquaman's story has been fucking killer. I think this is only my second issue I've bought of Aquaman, and I really wish I would have started from like the beginning because I feel like this is like the pinnacle, like the end of this whole entire big huge story arc, and I've been missing out, and I'm like just catching the tail end of it. So there's like all these characters who like I should care about, but like I really don't, but I'm still intrigued by the story, and it's still good. And apparently like the bad guy is transformed into some kind of creature. It's pretty brutal. There's like a pretty gory, bloody parts in here. Like this dude's like eaten up. I think he got eaten up by like a shark guy. But yeah, the art's really good in here. The dialogue is really good. It's super interesting the whole way through. Like has cool spreads like this. Iron Man fighting like this evil king bad guy who transformed into that creature now. So yeah, like I really wish I would have like started on this earlier. But trying to see what happens, what the cliffhanger was. Oh yeah, the cliffhanger was like they find the royal treasury beneath Atlantis, and as some kind of weird like ghost creatures waiting for them. They're like, oh, what is that? So yeah, I have no idea what they are, and like I wish I cared more about these characters because it's like I feel like I'm not getting the full thing because I started way too late. So I'm bummed about that, but I'm still enjoying that a lot. Next is Damage, and he just pretty much fights Poison Ivy, and then at the end, Poison Ivy's like, oh yeah, hey, like I got Gorilla Grodd on my team, and so Gorilla Grodd's like, yeah, we're gonna take over plants and apes together, know before Grodd. And that's it. That's all you gotta know. Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. It's whatever. It's not like the worst thing ever, but yeah, it's okay. Next is New Challengers, issue 1. And this is okay. The art is okay. It's just, I would compare it to Immortal Men. Just because like that one in particular had like so much dialogue and like world building and introduction to like a lot of characters and a lot of like mythos, and it's just like too much for like a new reader. Yeah, it was okay. It just pretty much just says like there's been a bunch of challengers before them. It's like a hologram of who they were. And you have like this tattoo of an hourglass on your arm, and once you go out of like this zone or area, like it'll start ticking down. You only have so much time before you die. This one dude bailed right away, and he died like immediately. He like melted. It's like me in the summertime. It gets too hot. And then at the end, I don't really remember what the fuck was going on at the end, but they found like some kind of like big creature thing. But yeah, like all this is like I don't care. Like I don't care about any of this that's happening in front of me right now. But I'm gonna continue to read it and stick with it for at least the first story arc. Walk Through Hell, Garth Ennis. This has been fucking awesome. First issue. I've heard like I would say 90% positive reviews, and I heard like a handful. I would say like maybe 3 people were like, "This sucks." It's gonna be. This one was like a slow burn. Like it. Well, I mean, it starts off right away. It's like, all right, I'm gonna fucking show you this shit. Because I love this. I love this whole entire issue, and I'm stoked for the next one. For this whole entire series, I'm stoked. Like I'm in. God damn. Here we go. Jesus Christ, still can't get page 1. All right. Yeah. Couple shopping at the mall. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, blam! Shoots the fucking baby right in the face. Goes through the baby's head. Through the woman. Dude freaks out. And like, in the background, you see it's like a mass mall shooting. They're in the mall. It's like a mass mall shooting. So this dude's like, who shot like the baby? He's like shooting other people randomly. And then like, at the end, you can see that he kills himself. But yeah, there's like a lot of like small things in the background you like kind of gotta pay attention to, or you should. I think a lot of people didn't like this text dialogue or tweets, like the Twitter dialogue kind of thing happening, like a Twitter newsfeed. And some people, so another complaint was like, oh, these like FBI agents had no like personality, no character development, but like I thought it was fine. Like it mainly focused on the woman. But you can clearly tell that she had some past trauma. She's having nightmares like this whole entire beginning, and then she wakes up and comes to. She's like, God damn it, I gotta start her day. And there's some things that are unspoken, which I guess are going to be revealed later. She's like, oh, what was the thing we talked to him about? And then she like looks away. He's like, oh. So it's like, I don't know, there's more to it than that, of course, but I mean, there's some things that are going to be revealed later. I think is what they're kind of referring to here. And so they're talking with their partners at lunchtime, and they're like, okay, you go to this one location, we're going to go to the other, and we'll meet back later on. And they went to their place they're going to go to, got their information, and the place their friends, their other agents went to, this like warehouse. They just never came back. And so the FBI agents go to the police. Like there's always like SWAT team and like these cops that are like, well, like why didn't you go in there or take care of anything? And they're like, okay, well, like we're embarrassed and this is kind of unusual and we're not completely certain what we're dealing with. I don't even know how to say this, but the fact is we did deploy our tactical unit. They did enter the warehouse, and then they came out almost immediately and returned to their vehicle. So, and like everyone's just full of dread, and they're just like super scared. So they're like don't know what's going on. And then the FBI agents are like, fuck it, we're just gonna take care of this ourselves. We're just gonna go in by ourselves. So they enter, they start walking in. Sorry, I keep hitting my ring on the glass. So yeah, they enter, and then it goes to like the SWAT car, and they're just like chilling in the back, like just terrified, and they're like, we got to get out of here. He's like, man, don't. We do. I mean, if we're still here when he arrives, I just wish we could call. It won't make any difference, Bobby. It's like, oh, he's coming. That's all there is to it. That. He's like, oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. What about where we end up? He's like, oh, well, it's got to be better than what's going to happen here. We got to go now, all of us, okay? And then they, like, just fucking all kill each other at the same time. And they're like, oh, shit. Like, this is fucking nuts. Like, I'm so stoked. And they're like, oh, wait, go get the feds, tell them to come back, Like, it's too late, they're gone. And they're like, they're in there. Like, they're in already. Like, they're walking around. And, like, that's where it ends. And then here's, like, issue 2 covers, like, some dude blowing his brains out. Like, I love Garth Ennis' writing. And, this, too, at the end. Like, Aftershock is... Like, I love Aftershock comics. They're probably my favorite publisher right now, besides Image. Aftershock is probably still my favorite, though, overall. But yeah, they always have these little previews of, like, the comic script and, like, little sketches and the final product. And it gives you a fuller perspective of what's going on in the scene. Because you actually have Garth Ennis's, like, words himself telling you and how things should be portrayed in the comic, so you get a fuller understanding. And then at the end it gives a little preview to Lost City Explorers, which is written by Zach Kaplan, who is writing Port of Earth. And Port of Earth is really good. I've been enjoying that a lot. So I guess Lost City Explorers is going to be kind of like the Goonies, I would say. Like maybe like Stranger Things. But yeah, I pre-ordered that. I put it on my pull list, and I'm interested in that. So I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, I loved Port of Earth, so I think this has a lot of potential. I also put this on my pull list too, Pestilence, The Story of Satan. I didn't read the previous Pestilence storyline. It's pretty much like a zombie Black Plague kind of story. Yeah, so like I'm interested in that though. I'll probably read that eventually. And then also Brothers of Dracul from Cullen Bunn. Issue 1 was okay. So issue 2 I think comes out soon, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, Walk Through Hell I thought was fucking tight. Fucking check that shit out. My favorite comic out right now. I know we're at 42 minutes right now. It sucks. I didn't mean to be talking for so long, but there's just like a lot of shit to go over, and I actually wanted to talk about each issue more in depth, because usually I'm just like, this is good, this sucks, this is good, it's cool, but I want to actually talk about stuff. So I'm sorry this is long, and thank you for watching if you're still here. If not, then I'm sorry. Gideon Falls is my favorite comic out right now. Jeff Lemire is crushing it. Once again, total Twin Peaks influence. The art in this is really good. I mean, some people might think it's a little sketchy, but I think it's super interesting. This one dude set a bunch of traps around. It's usually, they have like really bloody and gory parts as well, which, I'm not too keen on. In particular, I don't like things that are super bloody or gory. Like, I don't search them out if they are. But yeah, in the storyline, his therapist, of this one character that has this mask, this one character just keeps like finding different trash and rummaging through things and finding like nails and things and keeping them in jars and collecting them. And his therapist is like, these aren't special things you need to collect. You need to stop doing what you're doing. And he's like, no, like I saw this thing in my dreams. It's like a black house instead of the Black Lodge. It's a black house, or a black cabin or some shit. I forget what the fuck they call it. I think it's called the Black House. She's like, oh no, you're crazy. Maybe I should put you back in the crazy house or the asylum, get help. And then at the end of the last issue, she saw like in the middle of the street all of a sudden this a flash of the Black House, and this like guy in the doorway smiling at her. So she's like, oh, I kind of believe you, but maybe it's just my mind's going wrong now or something. She just kind of is annoying because she should be believing at this part by now, and she's just refraining from it. So you understand why she's like that, but at the same time just annoying for okay, get on with it, fucking get on our side already. And then the other part of the story is like this priest who is a new priest in town, this like small town, and the old priest went missing or died apparently, but then you found out he wasn't dead and he was like possessed and like killing people, and so now this new priest is kind of trying to deal with that, and at the end he's like was told he should talk to this doctor, Doc Sutton, I think, and this doctor's like, oh, I've been waiting for you, you know, like you've been waiting for you to come, and so you see, like, he has this, like, room, like, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie Day. He's, like, has a theory with all, like, the strings. But I guess, like, people disappearing in the town and people seeing, like, that black house and all that. So we're still building up to where these two characters are going to meet. And because so far they don't know about each other. But I'm excited for that to happen, and I think it's awesome. I think it's great. My second favorite comic out right now is probably Infidel, and I wish I had issue the B cover as well, but I have that coming eventually. This one's really cool. The art is really good in it as well. I thought this part was really cool when this kind of demon thing starts coming out of the mirror. The art kind of reminds me of like Kill or Be Killed. That's also one of my favorites from Ed Brubaker. And I don't know if it's the same artist. I didn't pay attention to who that artist was, which is a shame. Yeah, it has like cool spreads. All the characters are super like relatable and super interesting. You know, it deals with racism and xenophobia and a bunch of other, you know, ideals. And this one's pretty cool. I like sigils and the occult, and it's like a little spread. I feel like that's something I would own. But yeah, the last issue, the main character saw a ghost that was gonna hurt her mother-in-law and her daughter, I guess her stepdaughter, and she ended up pushing them down a set of stairs, and her mother-in-law died. I was like, oh shit. And the daughter's in the hospital, and I guess the main character, she was found outside, like passed out, and she was in the hospital. She's out this whole entire issue. It's like other characters that come to the forefront in this issue. But her best friend, who didn't believe her before, kind of starts championing her, you know, becomes on her side in this issue, and thinks that, like, the neighbor that reported her to the police, like, she was a witness, she saw her push him downstairs, and she thinks, like, it's a racist thing, but, like, this neighbor actually saw it happen, and then her friend, like, sees, like, this, like, ghost thing pop through the wall, and then the main character wakes up at the end, and it's like the art is like so good, and this is like a fucking trip. But yeah, I guess apparently this, you know, story has been picked up by, I think, a TV show company. I think it's going to be a TV show or a movie. I want to say it's going to be a TV show. I could be wrong. It could be a movie. I don't know. But yeah, it's really good, and it's only issue 3 in, and it got picked up to be, like, you know, televised or in a cinema already. It's really good. I recommend you pick up Infidel. Barrier. I'm sure I'm not doing justice to any of these I'm explaining. Brian K. Vaughan, you know, written Saga and a bunch of other good stuff. This is the silent issue. There's no dialogue at all in this whole entire thing, which is cool, because, like, when I read it, I was, like, really tired and I didn't want to read. And it's just the two main characters come into, like, a common understanding and relatability with each other, and their hope to escape this alien capture. They're captured by an alien spaceship, And I guess these aliens talk to them or made their eardrums bleed out so they can't hear anything. Or it could be the containment little area that they're in. It's like a little bubble. But yeah, so like the dude finds this backpack and it had like soda, cigarettes, and some bullshit in there. And she like lights a cigarette, and then all of a sudden the whole entire place starts like shaking. This corner, sorry, that's kind of cool. It's like kind of almost 3D layered, like a lot of blurred kind of imagery. And she's like, all right, well, we gotta like, silent it. She's like, we gotta make more fire and burn stuff. And she has like a book. He's like, no, I don't want to give it up. And it's, he has stuff in there drawn by his son. And of course she like is dumb and she thinks he drew it. Then he's like, no, it's like, here's my baby tattoo. But I think he gives it up for the most part. I think he kept the one page and he like let her burn the rest, and then everything starts shaking. They're like, all right, like we're gonna escape, because like this hole opens up, and then all of a sudden all this like bullshit like fluid starts coming out of it, and they're like flooded, and it's like to be continued. So yeah, I mean, it's been a good story. The art is really good, and you can read it all online for free as well. But if you want the physical copy, pick it up. Sizes are a little longer, a little bigger than usual. But yeah, it's cool. I'm going to pick it up. I think it's worth deserving. It's worth having. I like it. Crude, issue 2. Sorry for getting like a bunch of glare in here constantly. It's been okay. The dialogue, I think, is kind of confusing because they have a lot of boxes that are coming from 2 different characters, but they're the same color. So you don't know. It's like you have to kind of keep reading, and then go back and be like, okay, yeah, well, that was from that one character that said that, and then that's from the other character that said that, which is really dumb. They just have like the colored boxes or something, like. Well, in this one, the main character is trying to figure out, who killed his son, and he pretty much just wants to kill like everyone responsible for the whole entire system that even brought his son there, and so it's some like big kind of warehouse industrial park thing where anything goes. There's like these people fucking over here, like left hand corner there, like it just anything goes there. And there's like these guys that come to collect money from like small vendors, like that guy. And then there's like this resistance that pop up and like, okay, well, like we're standing up for the people and you can't do that anymore. This is our territory. It's like the people's territory. And then you find out later on that those guys also collect money from different places, and they give it to like their leader, which is like this dude. And you find out he has different motivations, and he's like not really for the people. He has his own things going on that behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. His own motivations. And then the main character like covers himself in mud for whatever reason. I guess like to not be recognized, I guess. And then he goes and beats up some guys that were bullying the small town people. So he's kind of fighting on the side of the resistance. I guess that was just like to hide his identity, but like you can still clearly see what he looks like. And then here's a little nude scene. He rinses off. And yeah, here's like the bad guy having his dialogue. He's saying more clandestine things. And then at the end, yeah, it's the main character is going to apply for a job at the main company of the bad guys, not the revolutionary guys, the main bad guys who control pretty much the whole entire area. I guess you probably get on the inside. And It's okay. Once again, like dialogue is not the best. I like the plot more than anything else. The art is decent, um, and I'm going to continue to read. I'm going to finish it off because I'm not sure how long it's going to go for. I want to say it's like a short series. I want to say like 6 issues, I think. But yeah, I mean it's kind of like Taken or something like that, or John Wick. Just a guy getting revenge. It's a revenge story. I think those are kind of cool. Um, American Gods from Neil Gaiman. I have not read. I think it's a book, right? I haven't read the book. It's definitely a show. I haven't watched the show, and I haven't read the first whole entire story arc. This is the My Einzel story arc, which is the second out of 3. So after this is over, I believe, I'm not sure how many issues it's going to go to. I want to say like 11 or 12. After this, the My Einzel story arc is going to go on for another like 11 or 12 issues, and then that's done. It's like the whole thing. I want to say there's probably something you should probably pick up and trade, or wait till it's all done and buy like the omnibus, the big thing. But I am having fun, collecting both covers. The art is good. I like the art in the covers especially. The storyline itself is very slow. It's a slow burn. This one, it's just the two main characters. One dude is slowly adopting his, persona in a small town, and then at the end they go to Vegas. Like that's pretty much it. But I mean, still pretty good. If you're just looking for something different, it's very slow paced. If you don't like slow stuff, then I wouldn't recommend it. I think your average comic book reader wouldn't want to read it, but I do enjoy it. Cold War from Aftershock. Cold War has been really good. The art, I like this guy's art for the most part, even though it can be really sketchy at times. Like this, for example. Like, it looks cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like blocky, sketchy. And then sometimes it goes to like a different, flashbacks, different color schemes. Really cool spreads. Yeah, like my main thing I don't like about Cold War is also the dialogue boxes. You don't know who's saying what, but I do like the character development that's happening in all these. It's like slowly but surely, like each issue has been focusing on a particular person or a set of people every issue. So, 1 was focused on one dude, 2 was a different dude, and 3 was like 2 different people, and issue 4 is a couple. So you kind of get in background on all these people that are kind of in the same group, and their contribution and drama that will lead up to the eventual climax. It's been okay. I wouldn't recommend it if you're impatient either. Because it can be confusing and frustrating with those dialogue boxes. But yeah, overall, I do enjoy it, and I'm going to continue buying it until it goes for however long. I think it's like a short series also as well. I don't think it's going to keep going on. I feel like it's a limited thing, but I could be wrong. But I'm still enjoying it. Jazz Legend from Scout Comics issue 1. It's really, I thought it was good. I like the art in this. More big spreads. It's pretty much just deals with this like really, I guess, talented trumpet player, and there's this writer. He's, fuck, come on. God damn it. There you go. He's like some kind of like author or writer, and I think he's writing a story. And I think the story he's writing is about this jazz guy, and I think everything that's happening that he's writing is happening in real life. I think is what's going on, or at least that's what they're referring to. And it deals with like a club owner who's kind of like a little bit mafioso. She's kind of in charge, but you know this dude's like the star, and you know he gets all like the women and drugs he wants, and you know he's doing well for himself, and he goes and buys some drugs here, which is some kind of blue stuff that he drinks, and then he like starts tripping hardcore and sees all like kind of crazy like demon stuff, and like some kind of weird creature thing comes up from behind him and like attacks him, and this demon thing is finding another demon thing and like eats him. And then this thing is like, you have nothing to fear from the storyteller, which is like this guy that came, the writer, the author guy came to meet him at a club, and like he's like, I've seen you before, like who are you, like get out of here, kicked him out. And at the end it shows like the writer, and he's like has this book called Jazz God Hell. But yeah, it seems interesting. I recommend reading it to get a better idea of everything. Those are all the shit I read this week. Over an hour. That sucks. I'm sorry. One last thing. I recently read all of Black Monday Murders from Jonathan Hickman, and it was fucking awesome. It was like probably the best comic story I've like ever read, ever. It's just like so in depth and insane. They just have like charts of different positions of like the stock market and occultism and different roles that they play. I think I actually went over this before a little bit, but I actually got to read the whole entire thing. It was awesome, and I hope Jonathan Hickman continues, because I'd like to see more. And I think that is it. Alright, we're done. Alright, thanks for sticking through it, if you're still here. And I'll see you later on today, because today is technically Wednesday, for my weekly pickups. Alright, bye.